Ladies and gentlemen, this came out in the Washington Post January 27th, 2021. There are many people in America since this pandemic started that are going to bed hungry each and every night. Now, hunger has always been a problem in America long before the pandemic came along, but now it has gone through the roof. People that used to work steady jobs, those jobs aren't there anymore. If you were a non essential worker, and you don't have ties or connections to people that can help you get into a job, then you're pretty much screwed. And right now, there are more people unemployed than there are jobs to go around. And that is also a big, major problem. And a lot of the jobs, the essential jobs, they don't pay quite as much. So if these folks had like certain expenses that they can't even pay for now, and you certainly can't even pay on some of these low paying essential jobs, and that's why they're trying to raise up the minimum wage to 15 an hour. I said that's long overdue. They should have done that a few decades back, but here we are, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, they said hunger was once a hidden problem in America, but since the pandemic, it's now visible, and the crisis is actually getting worse. And it is, periodically, what I will do, I will go out and look at, the food bank lines, they are through the roof. And another thing that they're running into is, see, during the holidays, a lot of people will freely donate to food banks. When January come, a lot of that money that they were getting November and December, they're not getting in January after the holidays are over. So it's gotten that much tougher. Now you got less food at the food banks, and you got the same amount or even more people showing up trying to get something to eat. So it is turning into a really bad situation. So I have done videos and I have showed y'all pictures of the food bank lines. Some of those cars will go back as far as 10 miles. I mean, it is that outrageous. And many of these food banks, they only have so many tractor trailer worth of food. Now, I know in Texas, they were saying the average is about 8 tractor trailers filled with food that they try to distribute to people that are in need. And that number is growing each and every day. So they're saying they're seeing people of all walks of life, from young to the oldest, even people that are underemployed where they got a job, but they're not making enough money. And elderly people, young people, uh, it is a shame. It's a tragedy. Here you are in the richest nation in the world, and they can't feed everybody. That says it all right there. But you know what? America has never been big on helping the needy anyway. They always found poor people to be a nuisance, at least according to them. So they're saying that these folks are in lines, often waiting hours just for a box of food. And that's what it takes, especially if you have nothing else and you can't go in the supermarket. I mean, look, it goes back to what I was telling y'all. You got people getting unemployment under $100, $95 a week. Who the hell can make it on that? Nobody can make it on that. So, yeah, so now you got long lines. These lines go out for miles of people. They just want enough to get through the week in many cases. And then they got to do it all over again when they start getting close to running out of food. So we know in this country, politicians were in a deadlock from the summer all the way till December, and they gave us that insulting $600 check. People were piling up at the food banks, especially in December, and it was a tough time. So the country's largest network of food banks is bracing for a 50% reduction in food from the government this year, even as demand soar. So there's going to be less food to go around. That's why they're saying 2021 is going to be a record-breaking year for hunger in America. That's what they're anticipating. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see people struggling and hungry in virtually every state in America. Now, in this article, they mention Pennsylvania, New Mexico, Maryland, and California. So they're talking about, people living with hunger. Shoot, there's a lot of people living in cars now. And that's another thing they're not talking very much about. So in this story, you're going to see some of the faces of hunger and what they call food insecurity. This is Pennsylvania right here. I recognize them old shacks anywhere. So this, I grew up in Pennsylvania, y'all. So this is a woman, and she was self-employed, now struggling with her children, trying to make it. Every meal is a struggle. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So you're just seeing a bunch of people in this story where they're talking about struggling for food and supplies and going out and picking up this food and how long they have to wait before they can even get a box of food. Yeah, it's difficult. Very difficult. And this is New Mexico. And you can see how long that line of cars are just looking at that. So this is the Food Depot based in Santa Fe. It serves 9 counties. It's a lifeline for small indigenous communities, even more isolated during the pandemic. Wow. I mean, when you see the aerial shots of these car lines, it is just, I mean, we know hunger was always here, but it's mind-boggling to see it. It really is. So, yeah, so this man is Justin Peters, the director of warehouse operations, sourcing the food. Yeah, so I guess it is because you have to determine who needs it the most. That is tough. All right. And these are just some people of New Mexico that are struggling to eat every day. You see the faces, right? California.